She is one of the very few artists challenging theater, challenging the audience, challenging the practice of theater.
You couldn't really live in Montreal and work in theater and not know about Pol.
She is one of the most precious artists we have in Canada.
An actor is probably, ideally, one of the most complete human beings that it is possible to imagine, in my vision. Because he has to develop every aspect of himself to be able to show to humanity what humanity is. So he has this immense responsibility to work upon himself. A lot.
A living person who was present when it was created and who's capable of transmitting oral tradition. Oral tradition. It was through oral transmission that women's collective creations were born, through talk. By telling each other about our experiences as women, since this material was not yet, or at least rarely, available in books. Also, by reinventing in everyday life new gestures, new behavior, new languages. Allons donc faire un voyage dans la Cagnotte sous la soleil, said the girls in one group who had decided to make all the nouns in the French language feminine. As a result, the texts in their shows were pure poetry. Collective creations were astounding because they reflected the innovations we were bringing to our lives, present in our work life, no longer separate from work. Collective creation at the starting point and at the point of arrival is not a text, it's bodies in movement, bodies making sounds. Griots, troubadours, shamans, storytellers, healers, before books were invented, went around spreading knowledge and poetry, singing, dancing, and seducing. Without seduction, how do you expect to learn? Please someone, to please people. I'd like to please you.
Oh, I know Pol Pelletier since many years. I know Pol Pelletier since the beginning of the experimental theater, the Théâtre Expérimental de Montréal. So it's certainly 20 years ago. I've been following her work, and especially starting at the moment when she split with Théâtre... comment s'appelait ce théâtre-là? Théâtre Expérimental de Montréal. And she created then le Théâtre Expérimental des Femmes, which was a fantastic theatrical experience in Montreal.
I've always done my own work all of my life. I founded 3 theater companies, a permanent training center for actors. I write, I direct, I act. I've been a director of a theater for many, many years. Important, very important theaters here in Montreal that have changed the history of the theater in this province. And they make big spreads about me, and so they still say, she's a marginal actress. I'm not even principally an actress. That's not what I've done most of my life. I was mostly a thinker, a director. I never could do this. I could never do this work in a traditional way. word dojo means, it's a Japanese word. It means a place where one trains. Okay, there are dojos for martial arts, there are also dojos for Zen meditation. But the word dojo means the place where one goes to train. The word do means the path, and the word jo means the place. So the dojo is the place where one goes to be on the path of the actor. It's a never-ending process. For me, being an actor is saying yes to a never-ending process of transformation and of discovery.
The point of the workshop is transformation, and the exercises are geared towards making you more aware of your body, of how the energy moves through it, to basically shake you up, and to shake you up emotionally, and to turn off the mind so that you can begin to have a direct relationship with your body and the earth, and to take the energy from the earth and become a medium for that and to put it out into the world.
All the training that I've had before has given me little glimpses of what I believe is important to an actor, but not until I came here to see Pol Pelletier have I seen, okay, this is what I really can do. The rest is just touches the surface. I find Pol Pelletier has found the essence and has taken it to such extremes that you can really go far with this work.
So that nothing escapes you in this movement. So it doesn't become fuzzy. So you lose one of the 5 laws. So you go slower and slower. Don't make any noise. Just pure presence in the movement. I realized that there was a lot of confusion surrounding this craft. And when I founded these theaters, and at the end I started as an actress, I was mostly a director. And I realized it was impossible to speak to actors. And I'm not saying it because I was always right or whatever, because there was no common language. It was always like, well, it's this private thing I have. It's these emotions I have, and you don't understand them. So then it became a thing like some directors like your emotions and other directors don't understand them. And I said, if it is so confused and so individual and so muddy and unclear and depending on individual personal opinions, then there is no universal basis for this craft. When an actor is fascinating, what is he doing? Okay, normally we explain it, well, he just had this powerful emotion, or he's got this great charisma, and did you hear his voice? I said, that's not enough. He must be doing something precise, that's total, that's global. So I looked for the universal laws that would explain that whatever culture, wherever you are in the world, because I've traveled now and I've performed my pieces in countries where people do not understand my language. Also in front of people who are not the same culture of me, who don't have the same references, and they still have this vital link with me. So these 5 laws are actually, in a sense, the laws of life. But we just don't see life anymore. Like life with a capital L,
The first one is, many of these things come from Eugénie Barba. The first law, the law of oppositions. And I realized I've watched hundreds and hundreds of actors do one particular exercise. It's sort of like my basis to understand that to be an actor, you have to go from your normal state to a supranormal state. You have to train yourself to get into this supranormal state. So this law it means, he saw it in Oriental actors. All Oriental traditions put your body, and they're different, like the Kabukis, they pull, and say, the Indonesian, they get up like this, the Kabuki, they open like this. All of these traditions, the Orishire, the Chinese, they look and then they turn. All of these traditions do this and this and this, so that all of these actors, they're always being pulled in two opposite directions. And I realized, he also thinks this is a universal law, that this absolutely applies to Occidental. Even if we don't do this external codified, very precise stuff, it also, when an actor is inhabited by a true emotion, this is what happens to his body. See, now I'm listening to you. Just listening to you, there's something here that pulls, ears, my eyes, but then I have to use my body to stay in the ground. So therefore there are two forces. These two forces create a new electromagnetic champ. It's like electricity, negative and positive. Between the negative and positive, you get this. And this thing is universal. When this happens, everyone goes. I find it very important to have these concrete things that actors can understand, so not get into this fuzzy-muzzy Stanislavski mind trip. I have to think about feeling, what is it time for? It's not here, it's everywhere. So you have to train your body so that it is capable of letting this happen. And I realized that true emotion was always this. Pain, sadness, even, I'm exaggerating a little bit, to cave in, you have something that goes this way, something goes this, something pull. When you get fucking angry, something pulls here. What to go? When you doubt, you're pulled into. When you love, you pull, but you can't. You have to stay there. You're human. When you say no, it's this dance. To be able to do this, you have to have a body that no longer has any resistance. You have to have a psyche that no longer has any fear. So you have to spend your whole life, we are filled with fear. That's the reason we don't go to the end of anything, because we're always thinking about, yeah, but what will the directors, and what will I, but I'm too ashamed, but I can't. So there's always this rétrécissement. You're confining, and you come to this little statu quo where you're just sort of indicating, well, yeah, I'm a little bit sad now. Yeah, well, is that enough? Do you understand? I'm sort of sad now. Yeah. No, you be sadness. Be it. I train the actors in this sense, physically and psychically. We do meditations and physical training so that you're used to being in a state where you do not know what it is coming next. Like the way I use text, for instance. You put the words in your mouth, but you don't decide that now maybe what I'm saying will change completely, because all of a sudden...
anguish in my soul.
Why don't I be there when you say that? It's not funny. What? Say the word.
Oh, with what anguish in my soul!
Say the words.
In my soul!
Keep on.
I've heard you through my tiny hole.
No, there's nothing there. Stay with the words.
How inexpressibly I yearn.
Say the words. Don't stop.
How inexpressibly I yearn to join you at the voting urn.
Okay, you weren't there.
To join you.
How inexpressibly I yearn.
How inexpressibly.
You pay attention to each word, but not every word has the same stress.
And it's so simple in a way that you're just there. And when you're really there, a word will touch something in you and brings it up. And I think because it's not so much in the mind and so psychological, there's a lot more play and a lot more movement can happen, you know, more quickly, I think.
Qui prendra.
Celle qui quoi?
Qui prendra.
Prendra.
Qui prendra.
Ouais.
Du plaisir.
Celle qui prendra quoi?
Du plaisir.
Si t'engueules les mots, tu les comprendras pas.
Du plaisir.
Qu'est-ce que ça te fait, ce mot-là, à l'intérieur de toi? Celle qui prendra quoi?
Du plaisir.
Quoi?
Du plaisir.
Quoi?
Du plaisir. Du plaisir.
Ouais, ok, continue.
Du temps.
Du temps!
Oui, du temps.
Ouais.
Sauvage.
Du temps comment? Du temps comment?
Du temps.
So now I realized, because I was speaking about emotions, that when in theater schools they're saying emotion, 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 but no one knows what it is. Everyone recognizes when it happens, but we don't know how it happens, that emotion is your spine moving. And then I realized watching most actors, their spines don't move. So, no one taught them this, so they use their faces, especially when they get older, because it's a lot of work doing this. So I really hate you, hate you, hate you. I hate you, hate you, hate you. Instead, I hate you, I hate you. You see this? What's happening in my body? I hate you. I hate you, hate you, hate you. Oh, hate you, hate you. This is fucking bullshit. It's not real, it doesn't interest anyone. I mean, most theater is just not worth watching. Standing still on stage requires enormous energy because you've got to be meaningful. You can't, you've got to bring it in and become like a really, 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 really. Okay, so this maximum energy you do to have minimum result. In life you get the so nothing is often very significant in life. The way we move, the way we talk, because we're always economies. And Barba, watching these Oriental actors, he concluded that the reason they had such difficult things to do all over the place is because they were spending so much energy that their presence had to be precise. And lots of actors say, not enough, it's a day, not enough, enough for today. Maybe I'll get this emotion tomorrow. No, you're always on, you're always giving. That's your craft, on. And I was thinking there's something missing. And then I realized that if I would put actors in a position where they would stop thinking and they were just doing nothing, I would immediately fall in love with them. Immediately. And there was nothing changed. They were like this, and I would have them do internal things that were very little. And then I'd watch them and say, no, the fascination's not working, and all of a sudden I'd say yes. And then I identified that moment. Is they're going, shit, that's not working, Paul isn't happy, what should I be doing? Shit, I'm itchy. They were thinking, and all of a sudden I hit on some exercise or tool that was working, that stopped it, and then they're there because it stopped. So that means you have to train yourself so that you have silence inside of you. We're all talking all the time. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, I guess this doesn't work, so let's try something else. Oh, she doesn't like me. Look, she's not smiling. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, shit, I'll never make it. I'm not good. Am I really an actress? Oh, shit, I'm so ashamed. I can't stand this. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. That's easy to say, shut up. So I went to the Orient and to India and found all of these tools. But this is a lifetime process. You don't shut it off so easily. So I give them other places, other anchors, so that they know that they can stay there and not die of fear. We're so afraid of shutting this thing off, because then you become empty. What's going to happen if I'm empty? Real life is going to happen. controlling it and making it little with my mind. Big. And it's going to come through me, and I have to let it go. I just have to have a very precise, trained instrument. Follow it, go with it, go. So we're going to start breathing in the whole region below the belly button, so that this place becomes more alive, more present than our heads, than our minds.